What it do, family? I need y'all to walk with me to the end. I promise you, I'm gonna help you connect all the dots. I'm gonna show you that everything started here. Now, what you see on the screen is a gold Jaguar scepter. Now, let's get into the description. Peru, a rare Riquet gilt scepter. This scepter is very rare, with an unusual motif of 3 animals standing on 3 flayed feline skins. The feline is a jaguar. The central animal is a deer flanked by an unknown 4-legged animal. The shaft of the scepter has 2 channels attached by a series of triangular soldered stock. Each channel has a suspension hole towards the top. This scepter must have belonged to a high status individual, as its manufacturer is very elaborate and technically sophisticated. Only one other known similar Riquet scepter is illustrated in Catervan, Peru by Max Smith. The longer tupu is decorated with a band of 4 stooping animals in low relief, each with a serpent emanating from its head. And the serpent most likely is Kukulkan for the Maya or Quetzalcoatl for the Aztecs, right? And that is the divine feathered serpent, which represents Polaris, the solstices and equinoxes, and a whole lot motion. The inside of the longer tupu's upper cup is decorated with a frowning face, perhaps a mask. This one is the largest known intact tupus. The smaller tupu has a rich gilt surface and is decorated with a band of 2 face masks. Inside the upper cup of the smaller tupu is the head of the same animal flanking the deer on the scepter. Both tupus have finals that are decorated with both an outside band and an inside head. The larger one has a band of 3 double-headed serpents with a fox head inside, which is most likely not a fox head, but a Shoshoqui. You know, the same head as Anubis, right? Which is the dog that's indigenous to the South America. The smaller one has a band of a double-headed arch feline and a face inside, which is the jaguar. Now, scepters are a symbol of royal authority or power, but it meant more in ancient civilizations. In ancient Egypt, it was the crook and the flail, which are the same function as scepters, but the crook and the flail dealt with agriculture. The crook was used for herding sheep by shepherds and to protect them. The flail was an agricultural tool and symbolized agriculture. Osiris, who you see here on the screen, is the Egyptian god of agriculture, and later known as the Lord of the Dead, which ultimately represents the below, right? And he's seen here holding the crook and the flail. But keep in mind, later on, he's known as the Lord of the Dead, or underworld. And we know that the practice of agriculture comes from the Americas. And even when it comes down to the Sumerian gods, you got Enlil, the Sumerian god of rivers and agriculture. Peep this, Enlil is often depicted with a scepter. The scepter symbolizes his authority over water and irrigation. Enlil is also associated with farming implements and is considered a divine cultivator. And we know that cultivation comes from the Americas. But let's continue. Remember to keep this gold Jaguar scepter in mind. Oh, I want y'all to know one thing, right? Now, when y'all see all these different so-called gods of the Mayans and the Aztecs, or so-called different deities, they are all just different representation of the supreme creator. One, they're not really different gods. They're just different representation of the supreme creator, because we believe in as above, so below, as within, so without, and everything connects, whether it's good or bad, positive or negative, feminine or masculine, etc. But you got to know that the Mayans had so-called gods of agriculture, right? And it has something to do with the jaguar. These are the Mayans, and we all know that jaguars are held in high importance throughout many American Indian tribes, especially in Central and South America, but also North America. The jaguar went by a few names. I call it the real Black Panther, because the melanin trait is dominant in the jaguar and recessive in the leopard. The Mayans called it Chop or Chaco or Balam, which they also called their Mayan rulers or jaguar warrior priests that you see on the screen here. Balam was also one of the names of the jaguar gods, along with God El and a few more. Now, the Aztec god was called Tezcatlipoca, which could be represented by either the jaguar or the ocelot. And another one for the Aztec is Tepeyoloto, which means the heart of the mountain, because they believed the jaguar lived in the heart of the mountain. But peep the scepter, and you can also peep that Belloto is standing on a balcony. It has nothing to do with this video, but it has a lot to do with ancient American Indian knowledge. A couple fun facts: the Jaguar has the strongest bite force, or PSI, out of all the big cats in the world, the third largest big cat in the world, and it's the largest big cat in the Americas. But the Jaguar was represented by sorcery and magic, and the Jaguar, just like Osiris, was called the ruler of the underworld, but it's also associated with vision, foresight, trade, riches, of course, sorcery, science, rain, thunderstorms, and lightning, and was represented by the color red, and was found in several mounds along with human remains that was all painted red. Now that part right there was for the Mayans. For the Aztecs, their beliefs wasn't much different from the Mayans because that's who they got most of their knowledge from. With them, the Jaguar was associated with the earth cult, or Tlalocs, or rain lords, whose job was the regulation of agriculture, right, and irrigation, and the collection and distribution of all products of the soil. You can see here that Belloto is seen holding a scepter, which ties into as above so below, as within so without, and he's represented by the below, which ties into agriculture and reproductivity, and then the feminine essence, which is needed to reach divinity, right? And the feminine essence is also the symbolism for reproductivity, because we know that only women can reproduce children, right? Or bear them, at least. The Olmec, Moshe, and Inca, along with the Aztec and Mayans, held the Jaguar in high regard, and most likely associated that with agriculture. Hold on, before we go, these are Incan kings holding scepters in their hand, and the Incas ruled Peru, which is the same area this was found. I hope I connected the dots for y'all and showed you that this shit is ours. Peace, love, and power to my people.